Well, good morning. It is Sunday morning, Labor Day, and Labor Day weekend, and these are the two projects that I worked on last night, and I think they're great. So what I'm doing is I glued this down to some substrate, and I think that's really important, and I had to do it at this point because I've got a fair amount of paint on this now. And what was happening is this started to curl. You know, this started to get kind of a bowed bottom because there was so much paint here, nothing on the bottom. And as that paint dries and constricts, it kind of pulls the top in and bows the bottom. So I was like, wait a minute, I can't have that. And typically I will have this glued to the bottom before I start work on it because, you know, that happens. Well, this time I didn't because I wasn't sure if this is going to be the bottom. Well, it is, and so it's all set up, and now it's glued down real nice. So I'm pretty happy with that. You can see the edges are nice and tight to the wood. I need to trim this a little bit later, so I'm going to take it to the table saw, and then I've got to true this thing up to a perfect octagon, or cut it in an octagon, but it has to be square to this, not square to this, because this is square now, but you see this is off a little bit, so it's a little twisted like that. So I'll show you how to correctly cut the first side of this to get this thing square to the base, not the wood, and then everything else will fall into place after that. The next thing that I worked on yesterday was this. This was really fun. I switched recently to 3x5 cards instead of Post-its. Post-its were just bugging me. And I used them, but I didn't use them because I didn't like, you know, them sticking around here and there. They're great, but I wanted to go something a little bit more formal. And so I went to these little 3x5 cards, and these ones have little dots on them, and I think they're really fun to you know, write on and keep my notes on. But I needed a caddy, and I did another one first. I did this one over here. This one I did this whole jig and you know, hogged it out of a solid piece of sapele, and it was just too bulky. I mean, it holds the cards nice and stuff like that, but for me, I just thought it was a bit bulky, and I wanted something a little bit more slim and slender and stuff like that to the cards. So I made this little box. Now, you know, standing up like this, not a brilliant idea, except that I did put lead in the bottom. You can't quite see it, but you see that shine? That's the top of some acrylic that I poured in there. So I poured acrylic, then lead, then more acrylic on top. So it really does, you know, have a nice weight to it, and it wants to stay up most of the time. And I like that. I think that's fun. You know, that won't look bad on my desk. I can have it like this or like that, whatever. And I just have my cards. I like fun things like that. This one, again, a little bit too bulky. I also had a chip there I wasn't thrilled about. So, yeah, I'm not going to... I don't know, I'll probably still use it for something, of course. It's not bad, but it's just, I just thought the bulkiness of it. This, I think, is a lot more elegant, maybe. This one is just kind of like, you know, a tank. So anyway, that is what I did yesterday, and I think they came out great. I'm really happy with it. And I might make another one of these, though this is the last of this wood that I had. This is nice 1/4 inch. I don't even know what the wood is because it was some scrap. But the other stuff was so warped I couldn't use it. So I don't know, I could cut some more stuff up, but because I did, when I did this, you know, there's basically, let me show you here. There is lead and epoxy that deep in the bottom. See how high that is? So I've got epoxy and lead up to about there. And these stick out, I don't know, maybe a little bit too far. You know what I mean? There's this, like, this relationship, this ratio. I kind of think that might be nice, so a little bit lower. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. They stick out a little bit high from what I was thinking, but they're not bad. So anyway, that's what I did. It is Sunday, Labor Day. I am going to get back to work, doing some painting on this today, doing some editing. I got a bunch of editing to do, and then yeah, I'll get some finish on this too. This needs some finish. I'll most likely finish this one too. Put just some, clear finish on it so it protects it. And maybe I'll have this on the workbench and this one on the editing bench or something like that. So, hope you have a great day. I am going to get back to work, and we'll see ya.